you turn your toys into real life, pretty much. That's all that ends up happening the older you get, especially.
And then some of us don't even get rid of the toys. We still hang them on the wall.
Trust me, I have so much stuff. Yeah, exactly. Like all the stuff you have up here, I've got the same stuff sitting in my shop. And these feel
so
good.
better.
Don't get me wrong, like VQs and stuff, like they feel decent for what they are.
Oh, we'll go on this rant. Don't, dude.
I know I don't want to
Best
get you
V6
going
on
there.
the planet.
My buddy had just started drifting, so he's like, and then he was like, dude, I need a turbo. And I was like, bro, you just started.
No, you don't.
Like,
Shut up.
Like, just get in the car and like drive. He's like, dude, but Anthony's
That
so
was
fast.
Dude, oh my God. When I first started, that was a big thing, especially people with Z's. I don't know what it is, but go one season and they're like, oh, I gotta go LS swap. Oh, whoa. No, you fucking don't. Welcome back to the #1 drift podcast on YouTube, presented by Enjuku Racing. I am Dawson, and today we have
Ashton.
Nice to see you, and appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here.
Well, before we get into the podcast, of course, look below the video, and if that subscribe button is still red, go ahead and click it, and hit that bell notification while you're at it, so you're always updated with every episode. And again, if you do want any of the merch, which is behind Ashton right now, we do have limited stock of sizes. Hi, Jasper. So the design won't last forever, so go ahead and grab it while you can. Of course, the link is in the description. If you are new here and don't know, I have a media company, so if you are a driver or a company trying to not be annoying like him, if you are trying to get your media sorted for 2024, since it is already here, hit me up. Link is in the description on that as well. And then you might be noticing some of the glasses I have on right now. You guys, your little team used to wear these unnamed... Dude. Anyways, we'll move on. So we're not going to say the name of those glasses, but they are hideous, and I'm glad you guys don't wear them anymore.
Oh, yeah.
But you guys do like this kind of style of glasses.
Oh, yeah.
So I actually have you a pair right there.
Bet.
Those are yours.
Awesome.
So they're the exact same ones. If you want to grab them, you can look at them. Yeah, so thanks to Bums. If you don't know Jake Sherbrooke, he owns Bums, and they're like dumb cheap. Have you ever seen the prices of
No,
these?
I've never even looked at it, to be honest.
Oh, the first time I went on, I was like, bro, there's no way this is real. They're fucking $30.
Oh, shit.
And actually, until the end of this month, they are 20. Every pair on the site is 23 glasses. Or 23 glasses.
$23?
$23, motherfucker, I'm on. But yeah, so if any of you guys want some Bums glasses, go ahead and jump down in the description on that as well. And I'm actually going to do giveaways on these. So something new that I'm going to start from now until the end of March, the last podcast in March. Anyone that comments and likes each podcast throughout each week, I'm going to pick a lucky one of you in the comments, pair of shades of your choosing. Each week, each podcast, we'll get a new winner, and you'll get to pick whatever glasses on their site, and I'll get them shipped to you. So yeah, that's all that is. So how do you like your glasses?
Dude, I'm not going to lie. Quality-wise, pretty impressed with them, especially when you're talking about the price of them.
Yeah.
Because honestly, the most of the time I wear glasses, it's normally when I'm drifting.
Really?
I don't wear sunglasses normally, just like on my everyday.
Oh, wow.
But like normally they sit in my drift car. They're in there. I like get in grid, put my glasses on. And like,
well, there you go. Hell yeah. And they got all sorts of colors and stuff too. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I had to take them off because I got to be able to see my notes. Maybe that's what was fucking me
I was going to say, you probably couldn't see nothing going on up there.
It's worth it. All right. So anyways, we'll get into the podcast. Go ahead and give a little bit of a rundown on who you are, what you drive, blah, 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 where you work, stuff like that.
I'm Ashton. I drive a 2003 Lexus IS300, and motor-wise, bone stock. Got a ton of suspension parts done to it. Part Shop Max. Great guys. I love everything I've ever put on my car from them. I run the KBD kit on it, and it just works. Like, it's not competitive, obviously, but like for a seat time car, I've been driving
That's not what y'all aim for anyway.
Oh, I mean,
right?
I would love to do final about is like my goal. But the thing is
that's one of the questions. We'll get into that, but
I've got to get some things going before we do that. But yeah,
love it.
I mean, I've been driving that car for 8 years now, and I've owned it since I was a junior in high school. So I've owned it for like 12 years.
Damn.
It's had this. I'm on the third motor, which I know everybody says like JCs don't ever blow up. They don't. But if you
until you fuck up,
if you don't change the oil, they will get a spun bearing, because I have two of them sitting in my shop with two spun bearings just because of like being young and not paying attention. And then my last one was literally, what was it? This year or this past year, we were out in Salem driving up there, and I just got excited and wasn't checking stuff, and it was raining. I was throwing 360s, and all of a sudden, here we are with something started knocking, and I was like, what's going on here?
I don't like the sound of this.
No, it was definitely not it was worth it. Like, great trip, great track, and a lot of fun with the homies up there, but that will definitely ruin your day real quick when you're like 2 hours into it.
Hell yeah. Well, okay, give a more in-depth rundown on the IS, like what all's done to it.
So it's got part shop Mac coilovers, their angle kit.
We're BC guys around here, just saying.
I've got BCs on my other BCs? IS. So no hate to BC. I love BC. Like, they are awesome. But for the drift car, I started buying all part shop Mac stuff, and I was like, you know what? If I'm going to do everything,
I'm just going to ball out on it.
all my suspension parts going to be them, because I've been through several angle kits, and this one by far deletes the lower ball joint, so I was really happy about that. No more, like, it's all spherical. So got that out of the way, not having to worry about changing my lower ball joint every 6 or 7 events, because it's wobbly as hell down there. But got I think it's excessive dual caliper setup for the rear.
Yeah.
And did a part shop Max handbrake there. It's got NRG seats in it. Still using stock seat belts. Didn't really feel like putting.
You get the Prisma seats, right?
Yeah, I've got a pink one, and then I have the pineapple?
Pineapple,
yeah. I've got 2 of those, but I'm too lazy to put the driver one in, so we're still there with mismatched seats.
At least you got a second seat.
Yeah, exactly. And I just put that in before we went to Mid-Pond last week, because we were at Driven Luck, and somebody rode with me, and they were like, dude, this stock seat sucks. And I was like, I mean, I've had seats for 2.5 years sitting in my shop, but I've just been too lazy to put them in. So I was like, finally, somebody said something about it. I was like, all right, maybe I should worry about if my passenger is comfortable or not. So went ahead and did that. But
dude, no, well, the Prisma seats are the best just because of the little pockets in the front.
That, and they're actually pretty comfortable for the price that they are. Like, I was pretty impressed with how comfortable they were. And I mean, I drive that car.
The glitter backs on them got way better.
Yes.
Because I have the one that I have in my car is like one of the original ones they made.
Okay.
And the glitter back it's black on the back, and the glitter is like just rainbow colored, just random colors. And it's not that much. It's just little specks all over the place. But now
they knew what we wanted. They knew it.
Yeah. They knew we wanted flashy shit.
Oh yeah. Because they know the type of guys that are buying their seats. I mean, come on.
Yeah. And Enjuku's got them too, by the way.
Yes. Hey, their seats are good. Their seats are dope. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Like, I have a medium because I'm small boy, but whatever. If you're small, get the fucking medium. I promise. You don't want the large.
No, you don't.
You'll be fucking flying around that car. All right. Well, anyways, did you have any more to tell about the car?
I mean, I think the rest of it, I have FDF upper rears.
Hell yeah, FDF.
And then Serial 9 tow arms in the rear, just because.
Damn, you got a hodgepodge going on. What
I started it and had a hodgepodge of everything, and then my whole front is now finally part shop Max. And so I'm working that, and then we're gonna work the back. I've got a lot of random parts in the car right now, but we're trying to fix that all out, because I decided this year's the year I'm gonna completely finish that car, finally put the 1J in it, and just be done with that. Like, finally have a car that I can have fun with, because some of the boys on the team, you can kind of keep up with VQs and you can kind of keep up with LSs, but you're having to cut lines so much. I get tired of that. So I'm like, all right, we got to do something this year. We got to be a little bit faster, because everybody else is getting faster, and it's no longer as fun for me.
It's it's an NA?
It's NA. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And why, explain why you wouldn't want to turbo it. And I know you want to go 1J, but
So, it's not that I wouldn't want to turbo it, because they're easy, and JZs are such a simple motor, and turboing, it's pretty simple. I mean, we turboed my buddies who has the exact same car as me. It's painted like mine, everything. We pretty much have the exact same car, and we turboed his for a little while. He didn't like it because, yes, you can buy a CX Racing kit and just drop it in.
Yeah.
But it's not perfect. There's some things you got to do to it to make it work, and I just want stock, simple, and reliable. And everybody I talk to that has 1J ISs, they're great. Everybody's like, dude, keep them simple, keep them stock, and just drive them. They're like, they work. You'll
Mm.
make decent power.
Dude.
So I can't beat that.
I'll always love the 1J. So
They sound
game.
They sound
Do it.
great. I mean, I've got a 2JZ GTE IS that makes like 800 horsepower.
Jeez.
And it's great. I love that car. And the sound is great, but
There's
it's just
something
kind of
about the
overbuilt.
1J.
Yeah, and like 1Js just sound so much better to me, especially like when I think of drifting, especially grassroots, I think of 1Js. I mean,
Just
I'm not
straight
gonna lie.
1Js. That's all I think.
Dude.
Everything else, fuck them. I don't care.
Japan, Chasers, I mean, they work. And that's the thing. It's proven. So why not do something that's everybody's doing and it's proven to work?
Hell yeah. Well, you said you run a KBD kit, right?
I do.
Okay. Which, how many styles do they make? for
So
that
this
car?
is the
it just
first one they've made for an IS.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you like it then? Compared to
I'm a huge
other
BN guy,
kits?
so I was super happy that won. And
Cheers
I
to
love
that.
I love the kit. Like I love being able to pretty much not worry about my kit every time I get off track.
Yeah.
Because that was the problem. I had a BN style fiberglass kit. Never put it on the car because I was like, dude, I really do not want to be fixing fiberglass after every event because we drive hard. All the guys, we all drive hard together.
KBD
and-
saves hurt feelings.
Oh yeah. Somebody hits you. You're not worried about getting out and looking at your rear bumper being like, damn, that thing's gone.
Yep. Exactly.
So yeah, huge shout out to them because I was stoked when I got that invite to the Facebook friend or like page or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, finally, these guys are finally making one for an IS. I've been waiting years for this.
Fucking right. Hell yeah. You said you damaged a couple bumpers this year though.
Yeah, a lot of hard driving this year, and I started out the year a little too low in the front, so it scraped the bumper a little bit for like one event, and I was like,
Never too low.
I was like, I gotta raise that before I just completely destroy this kit. Like I don't want to be that guy that has this kit just dragging all the time and destroys it. But been in a couple crashes this year. The bumpers have been ripped off several times,
Yeah.
but side skirts look perfect.
Hell yeah.
I mean, they don't look like they've
Troopers,
been,
dog. Hell yeah.
paint's come off of them, but that's about it. Like everything works, and I mean the bumpers still look good on the car. I just went to Mid Pond last weekend and used them still before I, get some new ones from KVD, but they still look great and they're still worth running. I mean, I don't care how many times you get those things up, they're worth running.
Yeah.
Because you ain't got fiberglass, dude. I'm telling you, nobody wants to itch and like nobody wants to deal with that.
I mean, I feel you. I totally
no hate on
feel
fiberglass because my wide body kit on my car and everything's fiberglass. So
you. Yeah.
but there's just some things you just don't want to deal with.
And they have the reason he said he's getting more is because they have warranties on all their kits. So if you do damage one, he'll replace it.
It's
So,
worth the investment.
yeah.
100% worth the investment.
What was it? You said there was holes in it?
Yeah, so
I saw a dude catch one on fire once from his exhaust, but
yeah, my exhaust melted mine at first. I had to end up working my exhaust because it did not come out the way it should.
yeah.
I guess because my car's been wrecked so many times. I guess shit under there's just not straight at all. But ended up having to rework that, and it's burnt a little bit. But what happened was I spun and somebody just went right in front of me, and it yanked the whole bumper off the car. And I just watched it get pretty much drug around the track and like tossed everywhere. And I'm just looking at myself like, damn, it can't
While
be
you're
okay,
watching
right?
it, though, it's like, damn, that's fucking impressive,
Oh,
though.
yeah. The whole time I'm thinking like, I'm going to get this thing out and it's going to be like half a bumper. There's going to be nothing left of this thing.
Yeah.
We pulled it out and it was a Miata. So, I mean, this thing dumb low. We pulled it out from underneath that car and I was like, I mean, obviously all the mounting brackets and stuff are broken off of it because it ripped it off. But for the most part, like minimal damage for the abuse that happened to it.
Hell yeah. And I didn't actually know this until you told me, but whenever you ship it back, you have to cut it up.
Yeah.
Because
so
you can't
you don't
refold
actually,
it.
So from what I'm kind of getting out of the whole process of doing that is I don't think you ship it back. They ask you to like cut it up in 3 pieces and then write like the date on it or have something with the date there. So just so like, I'm assuming they don't want you to like resell your kit when they send you another one. Or something like that. So it's kind of just like a thing where they're like, oh, like just cut it up so like you're not getting a free one from us and still using your old stuff like type deal, like just a
Good
security
shit,
little
Irv.
purpose.
That's smart.
Which I don't blame him because I mean, hell, I would. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, hell yeah. All right. Well, I guess let's jump off of what you're doing currently. Give a rundown on who you kind of were before cars and all of this even came about in your life.
I mean, growing up, I went to a private school. The whole like Christian thing with like the family and all that kind of stuff, because all my family had. The only thing I was really into, like I skated, I BMX'd, but like I started snowboarding when I was like 5.
Yeah.
And snowboarding really is what like hit it off for me. Like we would go every single year, which I
I've
didn't
seen
get
that you had used to.
yeah,
do
I didn't
some
get to go
snowboarding
out
and
to
stuff.
like out west. I think my first trip was out in Park City in
Yeah.
Utah and stuff. And like I didn't get to go there till I was like 7th grade, but that changed my life. Like after that, I was like, dude, I will never give this sport up. Like this is it. I was like, this is dope. So ever since like 7th grade, I've made it like almost every year. I've made it at least out to Colorado, California, Utah, somewhere to go snowboarding, because
Yeah.
me and a couple buddies got into it, and it's just kind of like something we do together every year. We're like, dude, let's go out here. Let's go snowboarding
Fucking
here.
sick.
Like, this year, my buddy hit me up. He's like, you want to come to Canada with us? We're going to Canada. And I was like, of course, the one year I decided to do something to my car, like, change something up. Yeah, I'm going to Canada.
Shit.
I was like, I can't. I'm like, I'm going to have to, I've already invested so much into this, but
Yeah.
I mean, if you've never tried it, definitely worth a shot.
I've been
Especially if you're
snowboarding
into,
a couple times, and I love it.
Oh yeah.
I didn't get to do it enough to really get the full hang of it, but like
Yeah.
I was still making it down the
I
mountain.
mean,
and
you skated and stuff, so like,
yeah,
there's a lot of comparisons.
I wanted
with
to learn
that.
jumps and shit like that.
That's where it gets real fun.
Dude. We talked about it on the last podcast. Falling on that fucking snow hurts like
Oh, yeah.
shit. It's like
Oh,
concrete
yeah.
and sandpaper, bro. Bad. But yes, it's just always fun because you said you did BMX and skating
Yeah.
and stuff. Which one did you like the best out of all three? Probably snowboarding, right?
Snowboarding would probably be like my favorite out of all of them, because I love cold weather. I hate hot weather. So like
Ooh, I'm
skating
the exact
and
opposite.
skating and BMXing, you do more in the like warm weather,
Yeah.
because you don't want to be out there in the cold. Like it's just not fun. So I would definitely have to say
It makes the
snowboarding
injuries hurt
definitely
worse.
took it for me.
That's fair. That's fair. I just always like to see what sport, because there's always a fucking sport.
Oh yeah.
There's always some type of hobby or sport that brings you into drifting, and majority
It's
of the
the
time it's
creativity from it.
skateboarding or BMX. Yeah, but yeah, I think it's the me and Chase from Chase Bays
Yeah.
talked about that. I think it's the nature of wanting to land the trick
Oh yeah.
that really relates to drifting well. But
I could see that.
yeah,
It's a pretty good comparison. I mean, because every time like you go out to a track, like, I mean, what are you doing if you're not out there to just improve like something you did wrong the last time you were
yeah,
there?
you got something
the
else
next
you want
run,
to
you're
fucking
like,
learn.
Man, I could have hit that zone a little bit better. I could have this clipping point. Like I wasn't where I wanted to be there. Like,
Yeah,
so yeah. I
it's
mean,
always trying to
it
gain
definitely.
something else.
That's why I definitely think like a lot of the guys that were in drifting or that are in drifting now, they had to come from some type of background of,
Yeah.
and like the majority of the time when you talk to people, somebody skated, somebody did BMX, somebody did something like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And we're all a little bit psycho, so that probably
You're not
doesn't
wrong.
help anything. So.
We all love spending money.
What else before cars? Like, is it just skate life? Just pretty simple,
much.
nothing.
I mean, I rode four-wheelers and dirt bikes forever. Like that was pretty much like before I got into cars, I was huge into dirt bikes. I never raced or anything, but I was
Yeah.
just going out riding
That's
with a
one
bunch
thing
of
I
friends.
never got to do as a
It was,
growing up. Just never got to ride a dirt bike, anything
I
like
think,
that.
four-wheelers really got me into like wanting to drift, because like we rode like not
I've
the
tried
utility,
four-wheelers.
but we rode like race four-wheelers and stuff. And
Yeah.
like when you're sliding around in the dirt and stuff, like there's nothing better than that. Like it's so fun. Like
Those
back
things
then,
are
you're
gnarly.
like 10, 12 years old, and you're sliding around in this thing. You're like, dude, this is awesome.
Yep.
And then I think that just kind of carried over to like when I was able to have a car or something like that and like try that for the first time. It was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is it. Like this is what I want to do.
Okay, so well, let's tackle that then. So when you finally got a car or started getting, or what was the gateway to even get you interested in cars? Was it just like, oh, my driver's
I
license
think
is
I'm
coming
probably
up?
like a lot of the kids that were born in the 90s, like Fast and the Furious. A lot of kids like saw that and they were like, okay,
Yep.
that's cool. Like that's because that was like the first thing that we had ever really seen, that and like Gran Turismo, Need for Speed, stuff like that. Like
Mhm.
playing those games, you were like, okay, this is dope. Like building a car, making a car look like this,
Yeah.
or doing what you want to do to a car. This is cool. So I think really like it started out because I can't remember how old I was the first time I watched the first Fast and the Furious, but that got me loving Supras, and I didn't even know what a Supra was. I just liked the orange car that was on the movie.
Yeah.
Like, that car is cool.
That thing looks
And,
fast.
yeah, later on in life, you video games and stuff like that, like playing Forza and all this other kind of stuff, and like just building the cars that you like, and then that I think just turned into when I can own my own car, what am I going to do with my own car? Like, how am I going to build my own car?
It
Like,
sets
what do I
fire
want
to
for
those like cars that
yeah.
you picture yourself never in your life ever being able to build, and then you finally get your hands on a car, not necessarily the one you were
Just
building
a
in the
car,
game,
yeah.
but like it's like, how can I spice this bitch up?
Exactly. Especially like Matchbox cars and stuff like that. I will say that I think it was a big thing because tell me what 90s kid did not grow up with Matchbox cars and like all that kind of stuff. Like we all played with that stuff.
Yeah.
And like the dub edition stuff and all those, like everybody saw
Never
that stuff.
really grew up. Toys just got bigger.
Exactly. So like you turn your toys into real life pretty much. That's all that ends up happening the older you get, especially.
And then some of us don't even get rid of the fucking toys. We still hang them on the wall.
Trust me, I have so much stuff. Yeah, exactly. Like
fuck.
All this stuff you have up here, I've got the same stuff sitting in my shop. Like all my old stuff, it's there. Like I'm not getting rid of it. I'm like, no, I'm keeping this stuff. Like this made me who I was, really. It formed me into the part of this life that I enjoy.
Yeah. So what was the first car then?
So my first car was actually a 88 Honda Civic.
Okay.
The little 4-door, boxy looking.
Yeah.
I drove it for like 5 months.
The EFs?
Was it an EF?
I think it's EF.
I did not know much about Hondas. I was never a Honda guy, so like don't quote me on anything.
Yeah, and y'all motherfuckers are ruthless, so stay out of it.
It was my uncle's, and we got it for $500. It was manual. I just wanted a manual car.
Yeah.
So my parents were like, "Here, like we'll get you this for your first car. It's $500. Like, cool. We'll
get you this tin can.
Yeah,
Here
exactly.
You go.
So I had that for like 6 months, and then I ended up buying the car that I drift now. I ended up buying that like 6 months later, and I've had that car ever since.
Did you ever do anything to the Civic?
No, the Civic stayed bone stock. It was like rusty as hell. It had maroon interior. The outside was maroon. Like everything matched pretty much. Yes, I had hubcaps that were like the ugliest hubcaps you've ever seen. I don't even think I ever took a picture of the car. Because people have asked me, they've been like,
I don't ever
do you
want
have
this.
that car?
I don't remember this one.
Yeah, they're like, do you have a picture of it? I'm like, I don't know if I can find
somewhere.
one. Like,
maybe.
Yeah, maybe when I sold it, like I might be able to find a picture from that.
You might be able to find the ad on Craigslist. I don't know.
Exactly.
That might work,
but no, I was not a fan of that car. But it got me back and forth to school, and it was manual. So like at that age, I was like, this is so cool. Like I'm doing this. But once I saw my IS, I was like,
I'm not gonna lie, driving a manual in high school, it was kind of like you felt you felt like it was a flex, which you really were just a dweeb, but you know,
it was cool because
the people that wanted to drive manual were
they never could, and they were like, "Hey, can you teach me to drive manual?" And I'm
like, God,
I don't know about that.
I got asked that in high school.
I mean, maybe if you're pretty. I mean, maybe if I like you, I'm trying to talk to you like that. Like maybe might work something out. But no, I was like,
what can you do for me?
Let's make this work.
No. Hell yeah. Okay, so you got the IS after that.
Yeah.
When you first got it, like, was it you just kept it bone stock for a while?
So it had an exhaust on it, which I literally just took that exhaust off like 2 months ago. It's been that exhaust the whole time I've owned the car.
What a trooper.
I can't remember the name. It's some super rare exhaust that came on those cars early 2000s that like everybody used to love, but they don't make them no more. So I was like, I've got to keep this, but I've beat the hell out of it. It sounded horrible. I had so many exhaust leaks, so I just like, it's got to come off. I've got to do something different.
Yeah.
And it had Enjuku Racing wheels on it. That's all it had when I bought it, and I didn't know anything about Enjuku, and I sold them. Yeah, not knowing anything about them.
Shit.
Sold them like 2 years later after owning the car, and like I kick myself in the ass every day for doing it because I went out and bought 527s, XXRs.
Dude, no way. How much did you sell them for?
So I posted them, and a guy offered me $1,500 for them. And I was like, okay, cool. That's like, and that was with tires and everything. And I was like, that's enough for me to, get a new set of wheels, put some tires on it. Like, that's cool. Not knowing a damn thing about what I'm selling. And they were like, they're like the one-piece ones. Like, they weren't anything like super special.
Yeah. I mean,
but they're built good. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Volk, most of their single piece are the special ones.
And that's the ones you like want to keep. And I sold them to a buddy, $1,100. Here you go. He didn't know anything about them either. He just like, oh, they're nice. I like them.
You sure?
He says he didn't. To this day, he will claim he did not.
Are you lying, bro? That seems shady.
Because they're still around. They ended up getting ruined because they got put on an SC with some slicks on it, and it was raining, and the guy went off the ditch and just ended up like denting
What a
them and
guy.
stuff.
There you go.
So it was like,
At least you weren't the ones to fuck
exactly.
them up,
Like, I
guess.
didn't really
That's one way to
ruin
look
them.
at it.
I ruined a bunch of XXRs, but hey, come on, it's like $150 wheel. Like,
Fuck those.
we're not
We got
worried about
Contes,
that,
baby. We good.
Exactly.
Actually, speaking of Contes, what if you were to put some on your car? Which ones would you put on there?
The
For
tandems.
anyone that has an IS out there,
I love the tandems.
really?
I do. Like, I like the way they look on the IS, and I'm a huge 17 guy. So like
That's fair.
anything that can look good in a 17 on an IS, I'm down.
Yeah,
'Cause
you
I will
like
tell
the
you-
skinny spokes.
I do to an extent. To an extent. I wish I could afford, like real wheels on my cars and stuff like that. Like that would be,
Yeah.
that's like the goal. It's like some night, everybody says it, but like some nice works or like just anything
Yeah.
in that realm. Cause I mean, I have weds, but I won't put them on my drift car.
VSKF.
So that's what my buddy wants to put on his 240. So I'm not going to take that
Yeah.
from him because he's like, I want that. I'm like, we all run the same wheel right now. And it's cool. Like, you have all your boys and
Yeah.
you're all the same color. You run the same wheel. It looks cool in pictures. But I'm like, I want to branch out a little bit. Like everybody be able to just do their own thing. Like create the car that you want to create.
Oh yeah, of
So-
course. Yeah, that's why I did the Neos, because like I feel like it's one of the wheels on the website. Like looking at the pictures, you wouldn't pick it out of all the other ones they have.
I will say that is
but
not the one I would pick.
Swear to fucking God, when they showed up, I was like, dude, this was the right choice, especially because they're chrome. But like,
You can't get
that's
wrong with
besides the
chrome.
fact.
You just can't.
Chrome bill before the phone bill, baby. Always.
As long as they're not black. That's what I gotta say.
There you go.
Hey, if my car was
if
black,
you got the black
on black
Conces,
wheels.
it's okay.
Yeah, we're not hating.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks good.
God, y'all were ruthless about that last time. Wait, where were we? Hold on. Yeah, sorry, we
that's my
sidetracked
bad.
on that one.
My bad.
Where were we on the car?
We were talking about my Honda, and like then I bought my Lexus. So.
Oh, okay. So getting the IS, what was the first mod you did to it? Untasteful that you didn't realize at the time.
I really didn't touch that car for a while just because it was my daily in high school. And I was like, the wheels looked decent on it. Everything worked on it. And I wasn't making a lot of money. And so I was like, I can't really put coilovers on it yet because I don't have the money for coilovers. So, I mean, I did the dumb, take your interior apart, get some plasti dip, like do all that dumb shit. Like,
Ooh, buddy, I'll do you one more.
like you thought you were cool.
Oh, dude, I'm on the same
Until you're
path
taking
right
it
there.
off.
Keep going. I'll do mine after. Go for it.
But yeah, like took all the interior apart. I was like, oh, white would be dope because my car's black, and like the white interior would be so cool. Little did I know, like I would hate it like 2 months later because it doesn't stay white, and
Hell
peeling
no.
that shit off was the
That
worst.
shit was doo-doo brown by
Exactly.
fucking 2 months later.
Yeah, and you're like, why did I ever? You can't clean it. It doesn't clean very well.
Yeah.
You're like, why did I do this? Now I've got to get this shit off. So
Oh, plasti dip just stains.
Oh,
It
yeah.
doesn't get dirty. It stains.
yeah, you're not getting that shit off at all. Period.
Yeah. Was that the only one?
Yeah. Other than that, the next thing I did was when my struts went down, I put Megan Racing coilovers on the car, and
that's
then it
not
just
too
went
bad,
downhill
no.
from there.
Yeah.
After that.
should have been BCs. But...
I kept it pretty tame
Yeah.
until I graduated high school and stuff, and then that's when stuff started getting a little crazy.
Hell yeah. Well, like I said, I'll do you one better. So I did the same thing. That was like the first thing I did.
think everybody
I swear to
did.
God, that's got to be everybody. Dude, if you did that, drop that one in
We
the
gotta hear
comments.
about it.
That's got to be everybody. I swear. But no, fuck, this is embarrassing. I took all of mine out, all the trim pieces,
Mhm.
just the trim pieces. And have you ever heard of hydro dipping?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's what I did. And to top it off, we made sure that it was like see-through. So like you could get a
Okay.
design that whatever you painted it, the
Yep.
object's color, it would show up through the design. We did carbon fiber.
See-through carbon fiber.
Yeah.
Oh,
With just black underneath, so it looked like legit carbon fiber.
oh yeah.
That's
You were that
embarrassing,
kid.
bro. Whoo. That now I think factories do that for
I'm
their
sure.
factory carbon fiber to look trim. But yeah, dude, I was in a fucking Sentra thinking I was hard as shit. It was the Spec V dog. It was a good one, but I don't know what the hell I was thinking. But yeah, you were the first person I thought of that question for. So,
Oh Lord.
dude, every once in a while I'll get those memories that pop up. But yeah, okay, so Sorry. We'll get back to it. I swear I'm not trying to. Today's weird. I don't know what's going on today.
It's one of those days, especially with it being cold as shit yesterday, and now it's like nice and sunny outside. Like it's just a weird vibe
Tennessee's
going
fucking
on.
weird, man. Our weather is all over the place. It's like what 60 degrees, 55 degrees outside.
And
When
I
it
think
was
like
20 yesterday.
Yeah, dude.
Fuck this place.
I was like, "Where's the tornado at this point?" Because
Yeah,
we've been having way too much of that stuff here recently. Tennessee's been all over the place in the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, so we'll jump back into it. So the car, when did you really start? How long did you have it before you started actually modding it? And did you start modding it specifically for drifting?
So the car actually was going to be a show car starting out. Like I was that kid, you know, we all went to Import Alliance and stuff like
Yep.
that. Like met a
Same
bunch
here.
of my friends through Import Alliance. Like didn't have any car friends coming out of high school because none of my friends I went to school with were car people. Ended up meeting a bunch of people through just going to car meets and going there. And I was like, dude, I want to build a clean IS because like you saw a couple of them back then. And when you saw them, you're like,
Yeah,
these are cool. Like I really like this. So I fell in love with like the whole build a nice car thing and just realized really quick, like there's a lot of money to build a showcase car.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to, I drive this thing every day. So
I
I'm going
tried.
to have to buy another car.
I didn't make a single showcase either.
I never did either. And then like, as I'm trying to figure out like what I want to do and like how I want to do it, my stepdad ends up backing into my car one morning and destroys the whole front of my car. And I was like, well, what do I do now? Like, I just had dropped.
It's still drivable though.
Well,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
I took fenders, bumpers, hood off because
Yeah.
it just dented all that stuff. And I was like, well, I got to get new stuff. And like, I got lucky enough. My stepdad was like, look, we just took full coverage off the car because I'm like, I think I was like 17 or 18 at the time. He's like, we just took it off.
That sucks.
But I'll help you out. Like,
yeah.
go take it to a body shop, get an estimate. Well, I got the estimate. And he was like, dude, I'm paying $4,000 to fix the front of your car. Like,
Holy
that's crazy.
shit.
And I'm like, I can do it. I'm like, I mean,
let's just buy the parts.
Yeah, I've changed the motor at this point. Like, yeah, we're good. Like, I could change body panels. Like, that's easy stuff. And he's like, okay, cool. Like, find somebody to paint it. We'll do it. And that's when the whole blue came into effect because there was a guy down in Florida. He's got a bagged IS300. He's a cop down there. It's like Celeste IS300.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with that car when I first got my car. And I was like, I want a light blue car.
Yeah.
Like, his car looks dope. It's GTE swapped. Like, I was like, that's my goal. I'm going to try for it.
Yeah.
End up chasing that color down for months because nobody wanted to give me, like, I messaged him and he's like, man, sorry, the company I'm with won't let me give, like, the paint code out. So I was like, okay, I'll just find one that's semi-close to what I like.
Yeah.
We'll just make it. There's been like 6 variations of that color since then because, like, I painted it and then I was like, that's not it.
That's
like,
not the
we
one.
gotta change this again. But ended up redoing the whole car, painting door jams, like everything. Because I was like, if I'm gonna do it, it's gonna be a show car. Because I'm still in that like, maybe I'll build a show car and I'll paint it and it'll look cool. Yeah,
I painted just enough inside my door jams to where when the door's shut, it still looks like
That's how I am now. Like, I've never painted my door jams again ever since the first time. So it's like if you open my door,
you
it's
get the original
definitely
color.
a different color, and it's dirty as hell now because like every time you clean it, it just doesn't look this because you don't clear that half the time. Like, you just put like a light coat on it, and you're like, it's good. Like that won't see a lot of stuff. So, and over the years, it's definitely flaked. And
I'd honestly rather just put fucking clear bra over it instead of clear it.
It would work
at that point
way better in my opinion. But that all happened, and I bought my first fiberglass bumper, and it was a Vertex style bumper, and I broke it in 2 weeks after like getting the car completely painted. I was getting ready to go to Stupid Cold for the first time.
No more. No more.
I remember ripping that thing off the front of the car and being like, I'm going back stock. Like, I'm putting a stock bumper on this thing. Like, I'm so tired because I wanted it to be low. I wanted it to look cool, but I wasn't willing to drive slow enough to not mess my stuff up. That was the problem. It was like, I didn't want to drive the way that the car needed to be drove at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, I think that's when I just pretty much decided, like, I'm going to turbo this thing or do something with it. Like, I'm going to have to have a different cool factor than just my body kit like everybody else does. And it blew up on my way back from Import Alliance Atlanta. And that was the second time it had blown up. And I was like, I'm done. Like,
Yeah.
this car, I'm done. I don't want it.
Damn.
I put it away, and that summer,
Just not knowing what you're having. Shit.
yeah. That summer, I got like a wild hair under my ass and decided I was going to buy a GTE motor.
Okay.
And I bought it for $1,900 from a importer back then, which I think about it now and I'm like,
Fucking
dude,
A.
if you would have known. Like,
I should have bought 5 of them. What the hell?
one J's were like $900 back then. So I'm like thinking like, dang, if you would have known what you were like thinking now.
Dude, we
you would
all
kick
say it.
yourself
But if we would have
so
known,
much.
I'd have been rich by
Oh,
now.
yeah. That or I just have a bunch of cool cars. I, mean, I don't know if I can sell them.
The new version of our dads. I'd have been rich.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, that happened.
I did it again. 3 episodes in a row.
Maybe
Ding my
move it to
elbow.
where- I guess you're left a little bit.
No,
No, you can't. It's got to be right there.
Yeah, it's got to be right there. I've got some stuff going right here.
Okay.
Eventually.
All
But
right. Yeah, that's where it all started. Really, is when I decided to put the turbo motor, because I started with my GT car being my blue car.
Mhm.
I put everything in it, bought a CX Racing kit, like did all that stuff. Like I thought I knew what I was doing. I look back at now, I didn't do my research well enough. I was just buying parts that people were telling me to buy, not listening to people because I was young and dumb.
Yeah.
And one day my buddy came up to me and he's like, "Dude, you need to buy a clean chassis." Like, because my chassis is, I found out it's been wrecked 3 times. It's cut right behind the back seat, welded together. Like it's 2 cars
Oh,
put
shit.
together. Like, and I bought that car with 64,000 miles, and it's an original 5-speed car.
Yeah.
So I thought, like, dude, this car's clean. Like, great. Never came as like a bad title or anything. I end up looking at Carfax.
It's
one day
hard
and
to
found
trust
at-
that type of work.
Oh, it really is.
If you're just buying the car already
But
finished.
I will say, it's held together. So far, no welds are
There
cracking.
must be some
so-
solid spot wells, dog. I don't know.
They did the damn thing. I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much where drifting started for me. It was like I was like, I'm gonna put this turbo motor in here. I'm gonna start drifting this car because like I'd done a lot of street drifting before that, and that's why I blew up my first motor. Is I was going out doing dumb stuff with friends and
Okay.
going to the bridge meets in Nashville and like hanging out with a bunch of those guys.
Oh my
So,
god, I never got to go to one of those.
They were actually, in my opinion, like that's when meets were cool.
Oh, LP Field.
Oh yeah, back in
Holy
the
shit.
lot R, but that's when I enjoyed like actually going out and hanging out with friends and like being around the whole car thing.
Yeah.
But that's what got
God,
me
I
into
miss those
drifting is
days.
pretty much the car scene and car meets, and then I met people that were way older than me but
Mhm.
loved drifting, and I was like, I mean, I watch it, like
Yeah.
it's cool, but
Yeah.
I don't really. I mean, I'll do it when it rains.
Yeah. It
But I
still
was like-
seemed like something that was too far.
Yeah, I never
fetched.
knew that there was like tracks I could go to
Yeah.
or anything like that around here. So it was like we would go, do dumb stuff on the street and just have fun. And
All because you watched a Fast and Furious
yeah.
movie.
pretty much,
Ah, shit.
Tokyo
Reese.
Drift just had me fiending for something. I don't know.
Some type of adrenaline. Hell.
Yeah.
Okay. So once you finally committed to like this is a drift car, you said you turboed it?
Well, I started,
That was the first thing?
and that build that sat for a while because I realized how much I had in the car because I jumped the gun, took the twins off, went big single, like then bought an AEM
Oh, okay,
standalone, like all this stuff. Like I went way too far into it for a first project that I didn't know much about.
Yeah.
And realized real quick I was a little over my head. So the car sat for a little while I was in college, went out, bought a Miata, daily drove the Miata forever, and just kind of realized like, I don't know if I'm ever going to finish this car. Maybe I should just sell it.
Yeah.
And that's when my buddy's like, you should just go buy a clean IS.
Okay, so that's what triggered it.
Yeah,
Okay.
because he was like, if you want, like, he's like, you should just make the turbo car a clean car. This car is totaled pretty much.
Yeah.
Buy a running and driving one, swap it over into this car. He's like, you've already had several, like, I've had several drift cars at this time. I've drifted
Yeah.
other people's cars, and it was more of like, do something with this car. Like, you loved this car, drift
Yeah.
this car. This is the car you like. I'm like, I mean, that makes
It's
sense.
such a good body style too, so they look really good drifting.
I'm a huge fan
But-
in like 4-doors. I love 4-door cars. So like,
Yeah. Sedan
I was sold.
Oh
100%.
my god.
I've had 240s. I've had
That's the one
all
thing I
that,
always
and-
say, man, is I really wish I'd have done the RB swap in a G35 sedan instead of
been-
the Z.
that would have been dope.
But
Z's cool.
it makes
And it's
this,
iconic.
it makes
like
it feel
you-
like the Z should feel, or
Oh,
it
I
should have
bet.
came from the factory. It's crazy.
And
It
Z's
fits
feel
so much
good. Like,
better.
don't get me wrong. Like VQs and stuff, like they feel decent for
Oh, yeah.
what they are.
Oh, we'll go on this rant. Don't, dude.
I know I don't want to
Best
get you
V6
going
on
there.
the planet, fuckers.
I guess okay. You didn't say straight six, so I won't fight you there.
Oh no,
'Cause it's not straight.
Let's not go there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't
was gonna
say.
say,
I
we
didn't
might
say
not be
best
on the same.
six-cylinder motor. I said best V6 motor. So,
I don't
dude.
know.
Oh, never mind. Someone tried arguing that an Eclipse V6 was better. I was like, this can't be real. That like this has to be trolling.
I say I don't know much about
satire,
them,
some shit.
so I couldn't even argue that point. I'd have to do my research before.
Yeah, dude. No, he
At
started
that point,
bringing
I'd
up
be like,
Fast and Furious as his argument. I was like,
okay.
that doesn't make it any better,
Yeah.
bro. Not one bit.
You just ruined your whole.
Yeah, you
Argument
just
right
degraded
there.
all of that. Sorry. Anyways, God damn it! Again, what
Hey,
were we on?
It happens. It happens. It's part of it.
All right. So you're building the car, you decide to get the new shell, and you're swapping everything over. Do you do anything to upgrade the car while you're swapping it all over?
No.
No, just kept it simple.
Everything-
Transferred everything. How long
yeah.
did that take you?
So once I bought the car, I drove the stock car around for a little bit because I had sold my Miata, and I was like, well, I'll daily this for a little bit until I get my truck and we'll figure some things out.
Yeah.
Well, my buddy had a shop. He was working at the time. He's like, just bring it to the shop one day and we'll swap it. So we ended up super simple. It's a JZ for a JZ. They bolt right in the chassis.
Yeah.
Pulled one out, set it down, backed the car out, pulled the other one out, and then set the motors in both of them. And we were done. I was taking one home that night. It didn't run because I was like, just put it in there. I'll take my blue car home. I'll get it running.
Yeah, I can plug everything.
Yeah, like
myself.
I don't want you to be at the shop all night. Nobody wants, like, this is your work. I'm sure you don't want to be here all day.
Good homie. That's
So
a good
like,
homie.
I'll take it home after we get done and I'll play everything up. I've done this before. Like, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Wasn't fine. That car sat in my shop for another 2 months just because of
Procrastination.
that and just being dumb, dude.
Yeah.
I was missing one ground plug in my ECU. Dude, I'm telling you, we fought that thing forever and like went through it, like power probed everything, like checking everything. And I'm like, dude, something is not right. And they're like, one of my buddies like, dude, you're not getting ground here, blah, blah, blah. We're going through the chassis grounds.
It's always a
checking
ground,
everything.
bro. Always.
It's a little clip right where the ECU is. It's just a little blue clip that grounds all this stuff together. I plugged that bitch in, fired right up. Like I was like, I could kick myself in the ass.
Damn,
for
mine
this.
was a headlight ground. There was a ground
Y'all
on
have
the harnesses that go to the headlights.
Okay.
Oddly
I was like, you
enough.
have one like right on that.
Oh no!
I was like, what the fuck?
That'd be fucking impossible. It's plastic. But no, yeah. It was just two little grounds on those harnesses that I didn't even realize were there.
It happens. And I will tell you,
Son of a
like,
bitch.
some harnesses have grounds where you never even thought they were.
Oh yeah, it's fucking.
Unless
annoying.
you.
That's
know
why you
that
just get a
harness.
wiring specialties harness.
He ain't lying.
Because
He is not lying.
dude, I'm not. I swear, I won't go on that rant again. But yeah, always wiring specialties. I hate wiring. With your car, after you got everything swapped over, what so like what all was done to it for its first track day? What was the setup of the car?
A welded diff, coilovers,
That's it.
aftermarket steering wheel, like stock seat, stock everything.
Simple.
Because like
simple.
I will say, like that was the first track day in that car.
Yeah.
But
So
that
your
was not-
camber was still all whack and shit too.
So I had taken a lot of that out. It was more of like, because I had a 528i, I had a S13 I had drifted. Like there's several other
okay.
cars. Like the first car I ever drifted, 2014 FRS. I conned this girl I was talking to like, let me go buy some wheels and tires. Let me drift your car at Clarksville. It was a night event at Clarksville. Like, and she's like, oh yeah, that's like,
Okay.
That's
Well,
dope.
we gotta hit that story real quick. What the fuck?
yeah, because like we were hanging out and like she'd let me drive her car and like when it would rain, like we go street drifting and shit in her car.
Yeah.
And somehow I was like,
It was a
me and
manual
this
car?
yeah,
You said? Okay.
me and this other guy
Wow.
were friends. He had a 240 and he's like, dude, I'm going to Clarksville to drift. And I'm like, I've been wanting to go out there for years because this is before I had actually gone to an event and drove.
I have a useful girlfriend. Hey.
We'll call her, yeah. Or she was like a really, really good friend that I hung out with, and we were just
Anyways.
Yeah, we'll keep
on the
going.
story.
long story short, like she would let me drive her car, so I conned her into like, let me try to drive it. Like, it's fun to drive on the street, like in the rain and stuff. Like it's pretty decent car, really slow.
Yeah, let's see
but
what it can actually
yeah,
do.
had lowering springs on it, and that was it.
Okay.
No angle kit, no nothing. So I went all the way down to like, damn, I was like out past Dixon, like to buy some wheels. The dude was like, here, $100. They have tires on them. And like finding a 5x100 wheel, like I'd never looked for 5x100 in my life at this point. So I'm like trying to find something.
Shit luck.
Finally find them. I'm like, cool. Get some tires. We go out there. And that's like what really hit me was like the first track day hit me. And I was like, I wasn't even in my own car. And that was the funnest time I'd ever had in my life. And I wasn't even driving hard because I'm like, I don't want to wreck her car.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin
I don't want to blow this car up because they're
How many laps do you think you did in that car that day?
I guarantee you 40 or 50. We did a ton of laps. There was like nobody there. This is back when
I wanted to keep it simple. Does 40 or 50 fucking
But I
laps
wasn't like on it
That's
the whole
a lot
time.
if you've never been to an event.
And there was like nobody there. This is a night event. And that was the weird part is the first event I ever been to was a night event and there wasn't a lot of people. Nowadays, you go to a night event, that's the event everybody wants to be at.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool.
It's a vibe.
And like everything, like everybody's got lights on their cars and everything like that. So everybody's just like vibing, you're drinking, you're doing whatever. So it's just like.
We don't speak on the off track shit.
Whatever we do off track is off track after hours. But it was super cool. And me and my buddy went out there. He drove his 240 out there. I drove her car out there. We had fun and we drove home. And I was like, the next day, I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm going to find myself a cheap car. I'm going to buy one.
This has got to happen.
I was like, because I had my Miata, but I was like, I'm not drifting my Miata. And my Lexus was still down. So I was like, I can't really drift that because I got to fix it. So I found a $500 BMW. The guy said, it's got front end damage and it's knocking. I was like, $500? Like, I'll fix that. Like, it's knocking. Like, it can't be that bad. Got there, listened to it. It was just like a misfire because we drove it. And I was like, this thing should be fine. Like, get it home, have to redo the whole front end because it's all busted, new core support, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And what it ended up being was a spark plug was not tightened down all the way. So it had a spark plug knock. And so we tightened that down. I put some, what I put on it? I put like Rev 9 coilovers on it. No ankle kit, welded the diff. And I was like,
what?
We're going to go drive this car. And I have like,
oh my God.
At this point, I might have like $1,100 in this car.
You should have kept that fucking car.
I wish I did. I sold it to some dude in Clarksville. It used to be at some Clarksville events for a long time because it was just cool. It's like a 528i, 4-door, big car.
Yeah.
And it was fun. Like
I kind of like them, man. I like big
liked them, but they were so hard. Like throwing those cars around and trying to keep up with like my buddies and like little 240s and stuff. Like, yeah, they're on a 4-cylinder 240, but the weight difference in those cars, it was wild. Yeah. And plus, like when you have a 4-door car and you have a bunch of friends, everybody's in the car with you. Everybody's like, oh, you got a 4-door car? Like, I'm hopping in the back. So you got all this weight in there. Then you got your buddy up there, just 240.
Yo, that's just fun, though, bro. That's so fun.
And that's what got me, like, that's what really started, like, my whole passion for drifting and stuff is just, like, the vibes that you have with your friends at the track. Like, I don't care
dude, I'm telling you.
About anything else.
When you have, in your case, with a 4-door car and you have 4 motherfuckers in there, dude, it is the best thing ever. It's like, just to compare it, whenever you go out with 3 other fucking homies and just go cruise randomly in one car and you're doing stupid shit, that's what it's like, but in a controlled area where you can have as much fun as possible.
Yeah, it's...
Dude, oh my God.
And, like, the thing is like, I've always been that guy to be like, you want to drive my car? Like, here's the keys. Like...
You're ballsy.
Well, that car is like, I don't have no money in it. So I'm like...
okay, yeah.
Which, fair. I mean, I have... All my other cars, like, there's several of my friends, like, I get a car, they want to drive it, they're more than welcome to drive it, but they're the same way with me.
Yeah.
It's like, my buddy that has the 240 that's LS swapped.
Well, that's a team thing.
Yeah, and it's
like,
because we've been friends forever, so it's like, he finishes his LS swap, he drives a couple of events, and he's like, you want to try it out? I'm like, yeah, I mean like, it sounds fun. Toss me the keys, bro. You know? So it's just kind of like a whole vibe I've always had since day one, even before, like, we decided to create a team or do anything like that. It's just like, I'm having fun. I want the homies to have fun. Like, let's all just vibe together and have fun. Like, you break it, you fix it. Yeah. And that's just the thing is like, even if it's not like you take the car home and fix it, like, just come over to the house. Like, help me wrench on this. Like, help me fix the parts that you broke. Like, we'll be good. As long as I can make it out again.
That's where you learn the
I'm
most
cool.
too.
Yeah, exactly. And like, a lot of bonding moments that way. A lot of bonding moments.
Oh, yeah.
First drift day was definitely like.
Were you able to, how many laps did it take you to link the entire track first?
4.
Okay.
So it was like, and I didn't do the downhill because one, I did not want to like, That was when Clarksville, like if you went through the fence down the hill,
Oh, yeah.
you're jumping off that bitch.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, if I throw this down there and take her car, like I'm buying a brand new.
Last time I
FRS
drove
pretty
Clarksville,
much.
it was that way.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
dude, it has been that long.
I haven't driven in like 3 years. I don't remember any fucking fence being on top of that hill.
No, it's not on the top. It's at the bottom.
Oh.
So like
There's a fence down there?
yeah, I ran through it
when?
with my 240. And that tells you how long ago that was.
Like
That was
right up
6 or
next to
7.
the track?
Yeah. So like when you come
No,
down the
there's
hill
not.
and you're going into like into the figure eight,
Yeah.
you're turning left into the figure eight.
Oh,
That
at
fence
like the
that's right
sweeper.
there.
Oh, okay. By the
Yes.
light pole and shit like
Yes.
that. Okay.
There used to be a
Closer to
generator
the
that used to
pits.
sit there and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It used to just like drop off.
Oh,
The other
yeah.
side of
Yeah,
that. And
yeah,
that's
yeah.
why I was like,
Yeah.
I used to be so worried about that hill because I'd watch people and a Miata and a bunch of other things like come off that thing, and I'm like,
The
I don't
first
want that to
time
be
I
me.
was at that track, and I wasn't driving, I saw a dude in a freshly painted S13 hatch. Fresh. Like, had to have been first or second event since the car was painted. Completely wrap around that light pole that sits
coming
right down there at the bottom.
Yes.
Oh, dude, I felt so bad for him. And I had no clue what was going on. It was like one of my, like the third drift event I had ever been to. Not driving. So,
Just
like,
spectating.
I'm still just like, this is all new to me.
Clarksville's had some
Brutal.
wild wrecks, and I think it's just because of like a lot of the
Idiots.
times it's like people being like, I'm gonna take this hill faster this time. Let's go a little bit faster.
Well, it's one of those tracks where like
If you mess up just a little bit.
I'm to the point where like I feel like I could drive with my eyes
Oh,
closed.
yeah, 100%.
So then you got to make it more fun.
Oh yeah,
If that's all you got. So
and that's what I've told every guy I drive with, like, because people ask all the time, like,
we're not condoning going out there and pushing it either. Don't
no,
fuck
like,
your
stay
shit up
stay
on
in
my
your
word.
limits, 100%.
I do not condone.
It's kind of like if you have a motorcycle, like once you're to that point of like ballsy as hell, you need to sell that thing. Like just learn where you're at. Like with a drift car, just
It's either
you want to
jail or
push
die.
yourself to an extent, but you don't want to push yourself to where you're gonna get yourself or somebody else hurt, because it happens, especially in grassroots.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay, so all right, well, let's skip forward. The first event in the IS, how was that going? And what was there any like major failures that happened?
No, I mean I went out there, drove, and I was like, and I went out by myself. Like all my buddies, my buddy had just blown up his S13, and he's who I drove with all the time. So it was like I can't even remember what event it was, but I was like, I'm just gonna go drive the car because it's running.
Mhm.
I want to see if this is the car that I actually want to drift.
Yeah.
Went out there in an LSD. I forgot that my first event was not welded; it was LSD.
Rough.
And went out there, drove, and like I
think
fought
those aren't
that.
that bad.
Well,
Those
it was
LSDs are
old
horrible.
too. So like, if you were going downhill and you kept momentum, it was fine.
Yeah.
But the second you had to like check up or do anything,
Yeah.
it wanted to fight you the whole time because there's just not enough power in that car to spin hardly anything.
Yeah.
So I fought it a lot that event, but it was still fun. I still had a good time. And I remember coming home and I was like, I need a welded diff in this car because like my 240 had a welded, my BMW had
Yep.
one. I was like, I think that's what it's missing. It's missing a 240 or it's missing a welded diff. And I never had an angle kit on a car, so I was like, I want to try like a small angle kit. Like I don't want to, because I had always been the person to like go out and drive, learn your car, then upgrade it.
Yeah.
Don't just like
Smart
be that
man.
guy that comes out with a $50,000 car and you've never drove, and you're like, you don't even know how to control the car because you never drove the car before. And
Yeah.
I just feel like that's a good thing with drifting is like learn that chassis first before you go out there and spend a ton of money and then realize, dude, I hate this.
Yeah.
So that was my first thing is like on my way home the whole time, I'm just like, gotta get home. I gotta do this. I gotta fix this. I gotta make this car better. Like I gotta have more fun. I want to drive with more people. I want to do more tandems. Like,
Yeah.
and that's kind of how it just started escalating after that. Like,
So what were the main things you wanted to focus on after that event to change for the next one?
I wanted different coilovers because I was on Megan Racings at the point, and I was like, I just need something stiffer. They were too like bouncy at the time. Like the spring rate wasn't what I wanted, and I wanted angle, and obviously a welded diff. So I went back.
So that's
I
what
had
you prioritized.
had a welded diff there at the house, so I went, put it in the car, tested it out around our house and stuff, and I was like, okay, like this feels way better.
Yeah.
I ordered a angle kit from Excessive, got that put on there, and I was like,
Now, did it all change exactly what you wanted it to change, or were you still like, nah, I got to change some more shit?
so the
second
car
event?
felt 10 times different. Like it was night and day.
Yeah.
Went to the track and I was like, whoa, like what? It
Wait,
changed
what am I
everything.
driving now? Hold on.
But I
Is this
didn't
mine?
align the car. I didn't do anything. Like I just kind of like eyeballed the
fuck.
crap out of it and was like, that should work. Like
Yeah.
I'm not really trying to spend money. I'm just trying to know like if this is gonna work for me. So I had some issues with like binding and stuff like that, and realizing like, okay, I'm gonna have to clearance here. I'm gonna have to clearance there. Like, so there was like 2 or 3 events, and I did a couple by myself. Like I said, like didn't go out with the homies. Knew a couple people at Clarksville just from driving for a couple of years and stuff like that. But like, just would go out there, just chill, pretty much drive by myself, and hope to God somebody went into tandem with me. Like, because I'm not that kind of a guy that's like, especially back then, I wasn't gonna pull up and be like, hey, you want tandem? Like,
Yeah. Don't.
I trusted myself, but like, I didn't want to be that guy coming up to dudes that I'm watching drive and they're like really consistent, drive with them and then mess up. Because I'm like, these are the
Well, as long as
OG
you're going,
guys.
if you approach them first,
Oh.
I would say outside the car, approach them first.
Yeah, you don't
and
want to be that
ask.
guy pulling up in line like, you guys want tandem?
Yeah, don't pull up behind somebody and just start throwing 2s and 3s up. God,
Unless I
don't
know
be
you.
that fucking guy.
If I know you, we're good. If I
Yeah.
don't know you, I'm gonna question it. I'm gonna be like,
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Actually, that happened to me one time. I was driving with my buddy Jackson. Jackson Saxon?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay. So he was leading, and he didn't really want to tandem with anybody. But I pulled up behind him, and I was like, "Hey, 2?"
Yeah, just like,
He was like literally
'cause
doing
when you
this,
know somebody,
doing
you're
this
like-
out the window. He's like, all right, 2.
Yeah, I
and
know
then
you,
somebody
it's
else
cool.
pulled up behind me, and they went 3. And he said, "Fuck no, fuck no, fuck no, 2 only." And then so I held up 2 only, and then Flagger sent us.
Yep.
So I was like, all right, cool. And then we go, and dude fucking follows. Don't be that fucking guy, because this was at Clarksville. Literally, after we took off, the first initiation, his handbrake stuck up. Guess what happened? He spun right in front of me, and I had to lock it up. Luckily, nobody's car was damaged. But if you know Jackson, he drives a hot boy ass fucking. Well, he doesn't have that car anymore, I don't think. But
I
all
don't
his
care.
cars are
I was gonna
stylish.
say, yeah, every single car he has, like
Yeah.
Jackson has some good
Hot.
cars.
But yeah, don't be that fucking guy. Seriously, that shit sucks. You're gonna ruin someone's day and ruin your own, and nobody's gonna be happy, and then you're gonna make enemies, and then oh my god,
Yeah, you do
all
not
because you
wanna be
didn't
that
ask
guy.
one question. Sorry, rant over again. Fuck.
I will say, Jackson's a dude. Once he got that IS, the white one,
oh, that car fucked.
I was like, because I saw him at Riverside, and when I was talking to him, I was like, dude, I've got to drive with you. I was like, you have an IS now. I was like, I've loved all your cars you've had, but you have an IS now, and
Yeah.
I was like, and that's my world. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
love ISs.
The 32 sedan is probably my favorite that he ever built.
It was a nice car. I'm saying, like he does not make a car that's not nice, and that doesn't. Most of his cars drive fairly good.
Yeah,
Like he drives all of them, and he
Mhm.
drives them well. So I'm like,
Dude, go watch his episode. He's a cool guy.
he's a good dude, real good dude.
Very, very like quiet though. He's like
Yeah,
Very
approaching
mellow.
him to even like, and I'd known him for a couple of years, but we'd never like really
Yeah.
made, and like just to approach him to talk about his IS, like I felt weird because I was like, I know he doesn't like talk a lot, so like I don't want to bother him because he was a lot of people. I'm assuming a lot of people talk to him a lot when he goes to shows like that because he was a booth car that year and stuff like that. So I'm like,
yeah.
and it was at the end of the like whole event. The next day, like it was just some pop up meet. I was like, yep, I'm gonna be this fanboy that's like, hey man, like I really love your car. Like it's GTE. I've got a GTE car too. Like you're that guy at that
Hoorah,
point.
Yay.
But then we got to talking. He's like, oh yeah, I know you are. And I was like, oh thank God. Like this is way better that like
Shit.
I'm not just some random
I'm
dude
not a
walking
dweeb.
up and being like fanboying over your car, which I was 100%. Like if it's an IS, you can count on me. I'm probably fanboying over it because it's just who I am.
Yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Well, speaking of style stuff, let's jump on the team shit. So why did y'all decide to start a team in the first place? What was the point?
So
of
it
it?
kind of happened like, oh, excuse me.
Y'all were already hanging out. And
Yeah,
stuff
like me and
beforehand.
Anthony had been driving together for like, man, probably like 2 or 3 years at this point. And he's the other guy with the 240. Like we used to drive 240s together, like bone stock 240s, just welded diffs, coilovers. I had a seat. He didn't. He was stock seat. Like,
Smart man.
And,
get a seat.
yeah, you want a
Smart.
seat. I'm telling
One
you,
of the
like,
first things you should get.
if you don't do anything to your car, get a seat. I drove with stock seats for a while, and a couple of my buddies have too. You'll just learn, like, your body does not feel as bad at the end of the day because you're not getting beat around and you're not fighting yourself to drift.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll say try it for one event, but then go get the seat, and you're gonna realize why you
Yeah, so much
why
more
you really
playing it.
need it.
We were LS swapping his car, And we just kind of got talking about it. We were like, man, like we kind of want to, because we'd always had similar cars, but now we had different cars. And we were like, let's do something with this. Like, let's paint the cars. So we went back and forth on colors. We were going to do like a bright orange. And I could not break down to change the color of my car. I was like, I even told him, I was like, dude, if we're doing this, I'm probably going to have to go get a different car. I was like, because I spent so much time painting this car blue and all this kind of stuff. I was like, I like the orange. I'm not saying like it's a bad idea.
Yeah, I've just got too much.
I just don't know if I can change the color of my car. And he's like, well, can we do something to it? And I'm like, oh, I'm totally down to do something to the color. Like, well, let's talk about it. So we talked about it a little bit, and then we realized, like, let's add some, like, purple or pink into it. Like, let's do something to, like, make it not Ashton's blue car. Like, because everybody knew my car at that point. He's like, that's your color. If we're going to do something, we need to change it up because, like, I don't want to just be like, oh, Anthony's painting his car like Ashton's car. So he's like, we have to do something a little bit different. Exactly. So we were like, okay, cool. We went. The guy that paints all my stuff, Russian Made Customs. Dude's a good dude. And he hooks us up every time. So like he works with me. I annoy the hell out of him being like, hey man, I got another broken part. Like, can we get this painted before this event? Or like, I had another guy buy a body kit. Can I bring you the body kit down? And he always takes care of us and does really well. So like,
how much do you charge?
I can't really tell you that because
off podcast.
Okay, fine. I got you off podcast. I will say, like, if you contacted him, he'll give you a price depending on the car. Yeah. But I just can't tell you, like, what
no, you're good.
Company would get for him or something like that. But we finally figured out something with him. It took forever. I mean, I have so many. I wish I would have saved all of them because I probably had about 15 different things that we did color-wise. And me and Anthony just looking at him like, no, that's not it. That's not it. Like, we cannot do this. Like,
nitpicky.
Yeah. And, like, I'm not super picky, but when it came down to that, I was like, if I'm painting this car again, like, it's got to look good. So when we showed up to Stupid Cold, the last time you were there, I think that was like 2019.
That sounds about right. To be. Yeah. Well, that's it. What is that? What does it say?
Bro, I can't even read that. And I have glasses on. 2021.
Shit. Does it say 21? Where?
2021.
Oh, wow. There it is. Okay.
So I guess
damn.
Not as long ago as I thought it actually was. It seems like it was forever ago. But that was the first time that like two of our cars were ever semi close to the same color. And my car wasn't even painted yet.
Oh, okay.
So he painted his, and I was getting mine painted like the next month, but I just couldn't make it in time for Stupid Cold. So like, it was cool because like we showed up and people were like, "Those guys have the same wheels." Shout out to Stage because they helped me and him out a lot with like their driver program that they had and stuff. So like we were able to get some like cheap wheels where we were both able to like kind of be on the same stuff and like look similar for a decent price. And we showed up and like it was cool because people would like come up and like talk to you. And I was like, that's the whole thing I've been trying to do this whole time with like drifting is like, I want something to stand out to where it's like, I don't want to be flashy as hell, but I want it to like be different. Yeah. And like, there wasn't a lot of blue cars then. So I was like, this will work.
Not that color blue.
Definitely not that. I see a lot more now than I used to. Yeah. But like, that was like the first event. Like everybody else had like dark cars. There was like a couple yellow cars and like obviously like white cars, like stock color cars. But like we showed up and I was like, dude, this is cool. Like to have another car like the same color, like this is dope. Like I fuck with this. And so that's when we kind of started pushing it even more after that event and driving together and just having fun. We were like, yeah, this is what we're going to do. Like we need to find a name. We need to do something with this. Cause we always had like car groups, like growing up, like going to car shows and stuff. Like, you know, you're a young kid, you have a car group with your friends and do this and like y'all all hang out.
All fucking violent clique.
Exactly. So like you all have your little like little thing in your little town that y'all
I don't even remember all of them anymore.
There's so many.
I know they're still around. Sorry. I'm not trying to talk
that all happened and like all the guys that I went to car shows with were trying to get into drifting at this point. So I was like, dude, let's just combine what we were doing when we were going to car shows and stuff and like we had this little clique and we tried to make YouTube and like all this other kind of stuff with it. Like, let's turn this into like a drift channel or do something with it. The YouTube thing never worked out for us because nobody ever wanted to do the editing. And that's like the hardest part with YouTube. And I would think almost everybody will tell you that it's the editing part. Like getting the camera out and doing that. Yep. You got footage for days.
That's why if you need it done, I handle it for you.
But sitting down, you're like, man. But we got a couple people involved. We came up with a team name and just kind of went from there. So it ended up being like Team Vice, and it kind of just grew from there from 2021 on up. And
Where did y'all come up with the name though?
So
Why Vice? Team
80s,
Vice. Oh,
like the 80s theme,
okay.
and pretty much like Vice Miami and stuff like that. Like all
Yeah.
the designs of that is like something that we really fucked with, and like the color went with that. So we were trying for the longest time. We were like, what are we gonna name this? And like one of my buddies was like, what about Vice? And we were like, why would you name it Vice? Like, and when he explained it, he's like, well, all the stuff we're looking at, like even liveries or like the design of it, we're looking at like an 80s style.
Yeah.
He's like, and that's Vice's 80s style. I was like, he's like,
Yeah.
you look that up and like, that's what we're going for. So we decided like, oh, we'll do it. Fuck it.
Fine. I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, like
Whatever.
it makes sense. Like we can make it look pretty decent and it will vibe with the cars.
Yeah.
So it just kind of spiraled from there. And then throughout that, it was just like every time you go to an event, like it used to be me, Anthony, and Panda.
Mhm.
And Panda drove the yellow IS300. And he's
Okay.
like, I'm not painting my car blue, dude. Like, this is a stock yellow car.
No sir.
I'm keeping the yellow. At first, we fought him on it. We were like, dude, you got to paint the car, dude. He's like, no, I'm not doing it.
I don't care what you think.
Yeah, so I was like, well, you can drive with us. Like, you're a homie. I'm not saying if you're not in my team, you can't drive with me, because I'll never tell anybody that. Like, if you're not in my team, I'll still drive with you. I don't care. Like, people ask me that all the time. They're like, man, I'm not part of y'all. Can I drive with you guys?
Mhm.
And I'm like, I mean, if we're all on track, obviously we're all on track to like drive with each other because we want that.
Yep.
But like, dude, I show up to an event, like, don't be scared. Like, come ask, come talk. Like,
Mhm.
as long as like we're chill and I can see you drive and like I know you can drive, like I'll drive with almost anybody because I mean, you get to the point where you trust it.
This probably that helps relate to this. So do you find that it's been very helpful or important to have this team to help you progress?
I will say it's
Because a lot of that relates to the whole just come up and ask. and,
Yeah.
like, stuff like that.
The part about having the team is nice because like, dude, I don't have to ask anybody to tandem with me.
Oh, yeah.
You show up and like, as long as your buddies are there, you're tandeming with your buddies that day. So like,
yeah.
it's cool, but like, there's like a line that like everybody always wants to do. Like, nobody wants to lead. It's very hard. Like, you have to fight over who's not leading.
Dude, I was always... I actually just realized this the other day because I had to send a video thing in for an event application.
Yeah.
But I realized from all my old driving footage, majority of the footage I have is me leading.
Yep.
Because I'm the one that I don't fucking care. I just want to drive. And so I would get up, I would just go ahead and say, fuck you guys, I'm going up front then.
Yeah.
And I would be the one to lead all the time. And then every once in a while I'd get a chase. But yeah.
That's how it was like starting out. Like when I first started driving, we started like bringing people to drive with us, like friends that were building drift cars and getting drift cars. It was like the way to get seat time is to tandem.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, it's the line that moved faster.
Yeah, throw these two guys behind us. They might not be as good, but I'll throw down a lead line. My buddy will follow me, and then like the other two guys will just kind of do their thing, but at least they'll get some more seat time. So that's like kind of how we did it. Which, sometimes if you're trying to get pictures with your homies and stuff, and you got like two dudes that don't know what they're doing in the background, it kind of sucks. But like at the end of the day, like those are my homies too, and I want them to progress as quickly as possible. And when if you're in a single line, like there's nothing against single lines, but if you got some homies, they'll just let you like, hey, leave me some gap and like get behind us and run with us. Dude, run with those guys. Because you're going to get so much more seat time and learn so much from watching those guys. Because I can sit back and watch somebody
following
off track.
Your line and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, be leery because a lot of people would prefer you to lead because they don't want if the good driver is going to mess up and you crash into them.
Yeah.
They would rather it be the other way around.
Yeah.
Like, because they know they can anticipate.
Oh, yeah.
They have experience anticipating you fucking up. And if they already know you're probably going to fuck up, they're already looking out to get out of the way. And you'll have better odds that way. I know it seems like you won't.
Oh, yeah.
But
it all depends
with an
on the
experienced driver like that, yeah.
Because like for me personally, like throwing them behind us was fine.
Yeah.
And the reason why is I knew they weren't going to catch up. Like
that's what I like
first
doing,
or 2 days.
Because you got to see how the line was supposed to be ran, and that helped me kind of click things together.
And like I'd always tell them, like, let me and Anthony take off line.
Yeah.
Just wait a little bit and go. Like we're telling these guys you're going with us, but there's gonna be a gap in between us because you guys are watching. So like when we were able to give them enough
and
of a
eyes
gap,
up, eyes up.
Oh yeah, always.
Don't look at the front of your hood. please.
There's so many people that do that. And like nothing against y'all, but it gets better over time. Like driving, you'll realize like don't
Especially
look at my head.
big, fast, open tracks.
Yeah.
You don't realize it at all.
Yeah, you'll be looking straight down.
Yeah, that happened to me. We've talked about that before at NSS. Yeah, he literally just said it before we went out too. He was in a driver's meeting. Look forward, not forward, but like look out down the
Look
track.
where you're going. Like
Don't look
where
right
you're
over
gonna
the
be
nose of your
going.
car. And then I caught myself on the 100-mile-per-hour sweeper doing the same shit, and then someone spun in front of me. Luckily, I missed him. But
Oh yeah,
yeah, eyes up.
dodging, that's a skill. Like
Yeah,
when people
it's
learn how to
hard.
do it good, those are the guys you want following you because
Yeah.
you know, like you mess up. I know my car's not getting totaled today because I know this dude behind me can dodge me. And that's like, I'll tell you what, if somebody can dodge, I will drive with them any day. Like all my boys, that's what I've told them from day one.
Yeah,
I'm like, we're driving, just learn how to not hit me, please. Like, I don't want to hit you.
That's all.
You don't want to hit me. We don't want to be fixing each other's cars. Because what's going to happen is you hit me, I'm going to be fixing my stuff, you're going to be fixing your stuff, but we're going to be doing it together anyways.
oh yeah,
So might as well just try not to do that at all. Like I get it. Sometimes it gets out of hand. You're having fun with the boys and
can't
it
help
gets
it.
a little rowdy.
Yeah.
I
Get a
mean,
little excited. Nothing wrong with that.
stuff happens. You know, you get some banged in doors because it's part of it. I mean, you're gonna mess up. You're gonna
Yeah.
mess up while you're doing it.
Hell yeah. Well, did you give a rundown on who all is in the team?
So it's
and
me.
what they drive and stuff?
And I have the IS 300, obviously, and then Anthony, he's got a 240 SX S13. It's got an LS 5.3 with a cam, and that's pretty much all that is. It's just
Yeah.
it's got the
Simple as it gets.
I can't remember what trans he has behind it. Some Nissan trans. It's not a CD. It's like the 5-speed out of the.
Xterra
300s.
or something. Oh,
I can't remember what trans
the
that is.
VG trans? It's for the VG motors.
Yeah, I think so. He has
I don't remember
that
the name
trans
of those.
behind it, and then there's Twan. He's got an IS 300, and right now we just recruited another guy. His name's Brian. He drives that 350Z. We just painted his car last week, which I feel so bad for him because we painted it, went to mid-pond, and got a little too rowdy.
Oops.
But and then there's also Alex. He drives a convertible 350Z, which is that Z's been around Clarksville forever. It used to be green.
The green one?
Yes.
Yeah.
He ended up trading.
Dude, that thing's
a-
just so many owners.
Oh yeah, he traded my old Miata that I sold him for that car, and decided like,
Has it finally got a cage in it and stuff?
no, it has that thing
What,
has
dude?
no
That's
cage.
okay. That's the only track that car can drive. Its entire
Yeah.
life, that's the only track
Well-
it's driven. It's Clarksville.
So
No, I don't know another event host or track that'll let you
We drove it
drive
at NSS.
a convertible without a cage.
It's been to NSS twice
No
for our
way.
Import Alliance.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So like
That makes sense.
2 years in a row, it's been there, and he drove that track twice. But yeah, it's been that in Clarksville, and then it's been to Mid Pond once.
No way.
Yeah,
Dude,
that was
that's
a
so
wild
crazy.
trip. That
Yeah.
trip was a wild.
Keep that in
trip.
mind if you do get a convertible.
Yes.
Most tracks will not let you drive that car without at least a half cage in it.
Yeah, you gotta have something.
Yeah.
But and then the last guy we have, and that's just drivers. Like we have more guys than what I'm saying, but they don't
Mhm.
drive anymore. But our last guy, his name is Pedro, and he drives a.
Hey, Pedro.
S-
Sorry, I had to say that. I had to.
I knew it was coming too.
It was sitting in my brain. I was like, just do it.
He has an S13 as well. It's LS swapped, and it's just another 5.3 with a T56 behind it, and
Yeah.
that thing fucks. I mean, it's just a proven recipe. Like
Fuck yeah.
it's simple. Keep it simple, and they're fun to drive.
There it is. Kiss method. Keep it simple, stupid.
He's not lying. I mean, and I will say, like, yes, LS is not stock to those cars, and I'll tell anybody all day long, like, what do you want to drive? You want to drive a stock car.
Yeah.
Stock motor, stock trans, as long as you can, because when you start getting into swaps, yeah, you're gonna have problems. You're gonna have all those
Mhm.
things, and that's what I've told all the guys on the team. Like, we did put a turbo on my buddy's IS 300.
Yeah.
We came into so many problems that he didn't drive for like 6-7 months because he was just like, I don't have the money to fix this, I don't have the money to fix that. And I finally was like, dude, take it off. Like, just take it right off. Everything's gonna run the exact same way it ran before you put it on there. If you're not ready for this, like, just get some seat time. Because like at the end of the day, like if you take 2 seasons off just because you're trying to build this fast car.
It's not even fast.
I'm not even trying to call you out or anything.
Oh, I'll call myself out, dog. I don't care.
But like,
yeah. 2.5.
you're just gonna have a lot more fun to have like a a seat time car.
If it's worth it to you for the like style and like coolness of it, then do it.
And that was my thing. Is like my buddy had just started drifting, so he was like, and then he was like, "Dude, I need a turbo," and I was like, "Bro, you just started."
No, you don't.
Like,
shut up.
Like just get in the car and like drive. He's like, "Dude, but Anthony's
that
so
was
fast."
Dude, oh my god! When I first started, that was a big thing, especially people with Z's. I don't know what it is, but go one season and they're like, "Oh, I gotta go LS swap." Oh, no, you fucking don't. You can barely link NSS. No,
I mean, not hating on LS at all, because like I said, it's a proven thing. Like, people do very well in them, but
again, max out your skill level and then upgrade.
100%. Or just get that seat time car and drive, especially for the new guys. Like, I get it. You've been driving for like 2-3 years and like you're bored. I get that because it happens.
That's
like
exactly
you
what
get
I
a
was
stock
doing.
car. I'm bored as hell of my IS, but it's fun to go out there and like always have a car to drive with the boys.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at, is like, it's hard for me to want to give that up and like put a 1J in it, because I'm like, I know if I do that, I'm down for like a little bit. And I should have done it probably months ago when stuff really slowed down, but I didn't want to. So now I'm over here like, do I just keep that and keep going so I can drive, or do I have more fun? Because at the point is, you don't want to burn yourself out being like, I go to an event, I know the car, I'm bored of the car, and then you get bored of drifting because it's either like, I'm either going to spend a bunch of money to like do what I want to do, or a lot of people that just like, I'm bored of it. Like, I burned myself out of it. But it also happens the other way around. People spend a lot of money and get burnt out of drifting because
spend a couple extra grand and just go ahead and buy another shell.
Exactly.
Start building that.
That, or, I mean, go buy you a Z.
Yeah.
Like, really, just go buy you a seat time car. G, Z. I mean, there's so many good.
That's one thing that I really beat myself up about, is that I didn't go buy another fucking shell, because I had a perfectly running VQ. I should have just left the car alone, or I should have just bought the G35 sedan shell and done the swap that way and kept the Z the way it was. That would have been cool, ideal.
Yeah.
But
then you don't have to take the time off. But I will say, it does slow down your build process. Like, when you take the time off, you get that extra money. You get that extra time to like work on all your stuff and like figure everything out. When you're drifting, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like, I will drift over build my stuff. Like,
absolutely.
People are like, buy this turbo or go drifting. Bro, I'm drifting.
Yeah.
100%. Like, screw that turbo. Like, I'll buy that another day. Like, I'm going drifting. And that's the thing about it. It's so addicting. It's one of the most addicting things I think I've ever come across. And it's like, when you're behind that seat, or like behind that steering wheel in that seat, just looking out, and you're on grid, there's no other feeling.
Oh, dude,
it's the best feeling.
The best adrenaline rush anyone could ever have. On the team thing still, you mentioned that you guys are wanting to like eventually go to final bout. Is that like the end goal for you guys?
So I think for like the team purpose, like, obviously everybody wants to try to make a career out of something that they love. And like drifting would always be an awesome career. But I think like team based wise, like final bout for me, like, that's it. Like, the style's there.
Yeah.
And just like
pinnacle.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in it for, I wouldn't even say competition wise, but like, because obviously final bout is competitive. The type of competing that it is, to me, is like, that's what I want to be about. Like, I want to be good at driving with my boys. Okay. Because that is what's fun to me.
Driving good and looking good.
Yeah. I'm like, if you can look good and drive with the boys, I mean, I've made it at that point. Like, I've had fun. Like, and that's what I want to do. Is
final bout's always been one of the bigger dreams for me. More literally the pinnacle. Like, if I make it to final bout and drive one of those events,
my thing is like, I don't even have to win that event. Like, dude, just let me drive it.
I don't care.
Like, I don't care about winning. I just want to drive.
But yeah, I want to meet all those people. I want to drive there. I want to feel the fucking vibe that everyone talks about at final bout. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, like, I've told everybody for years, like, I just want to go up there and like at least just experience it. Like, even if I don't drive it, just experience it. Because everybody's even like, dude, if you're even there, like, the vibe's there. Yeah. You just can't beat them.
The one at US Air. That's the one.
US Air, 100%. That's a dream track. If I had picked any track in the United States, it'd probably be going to drive US Air. Yeah. Like, that track, ever since I saw the first video final bout, I was like, dude, I need to go there. Like, that place looks so cool. And then driving it, I'm like,
what's the best track y'all have all gotten to drive together?
I have a couple answers for that.
Okay. All right.
But
go ahead.
like, where we all look the best and like where I feel like the team like really progressed, especially like this year, Bowling Green, we did great.
No shit.
Like, tandeming wise, there's 4 of us.
The LS Fest layout?
Is sadly, no. It was the IA layout, which is like, it's great for like tandems and stuff, especially with 4 cars. It was a lot of fun, and like we all push, especially on Sunday, because the last day you always push your boys on the last day.
I'd argue the LS Fest layout's better for tanking.
I like it, but I'm a low horsepower car.
Yeah.
The bank for me, I've hit
a
that
wee
wall.
bit rough.
I've hit that
I've hit
wall
it-
trying to catch
I've
up
hit it
to
multiple
my
times.
buddy because I was like, bro, I could catch him
Yep.
into the wall. But we had a lot of fun there, and I felt like we looked the best there this year,
Mhm.
especially like driving wise and just everybody being in sync. We went to Driven Luck, and by far the most fun I've had with everybody.
Mhm.
Just the technicality of parts of the track and stuff like that, and just I feel like everybody drove super hard that event, and we all like left that event like super happy. We were like, dude, like that was a weekend that a lot of us weren't gonna go to,
Mhm.
and last minute everybody was like, dude, we're going. Like, screw
Yeah.
it. We're going to go. We're going to make our cars run. Because, like, everybody had, like, broken stuff. We were trying to fix everything before we go. Because my plan was, like, after IA, I'm not driving till next year. Like, I'm going to fix my car, like, fix some stuff up. And then that came up, and I was like, I really want to drive that track. Like, I know it's brand new, but, like, I want to drive that track. I'm seeing so many people, like, go to it.
Yeah.
It's got to happen. And those two tracks, for me, like, for the whole group, we all love those tracks.
Yeah.
And like everybody will say, like, Clarksville's home.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, like Clarksville is home because Clarksville is where literally every single one of us started.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like once you go and drive like other tracks, you realize like what you do and what you don't like about certain things. And Bowling Green brings a lot of stuff that I like about it. And then also like Driven Luck, like I said, if you have the chance, drive that track, man. I mean, it's one of the.
What do you? Why do you think you love that track specifically so much? Because it's a more unique track around.
The obvious one would be the guys that run it, their family, like just the atmosphere that you have there, like super cool. Like they're dope people, great people to hang out with. Second, obviously it's new, so tire wear, great. Like I was like, you're on some Kendas. And I brought way too many, and I left, and I was like, dude, I still have tires. Like, this is awesome. Like, I love that. I love when I leave an event
worth of tires.
Exactly.
Fucking right.
I show up thinking I'm going to go through a shit ton of tires. I drive more than I've ever drove in my life, and I still have a shit ton of tires.
That's one of the
left.
best feelings.
And you're like, that's a win in my book. Like, free money almost is what it looks. It's like I don't have to buy more tires. Like, I can just roll these over.
When fucking people talk about that girl math shit, that's car guy math.
It really is. Because you're like, oh, yes, I could save money here, there. But and I will say, like, running it the normal way where you come into the big entry.
Yeah.
There's just something about it, like, because there's a little bit of elevation change. Like, I'm not saying it's like US Air elevation change and stuff, but like, we don't get that a lot around Tennessee area. Like, a lot of our tracks,
which is surprising.
It really is
so hilly here.
A lot of the stuff that like you drive, unless you're going to Polecat, which that's a dream track to drive. Like, I've watched people drive that, and a lot of my buddies went this year, and I'm like, that looks cool. Like, I just love elevation changes, and that track did it for me because that was the first one I ever drove here that I was like, dude, like the way that feels, there's no other feeling like that. Like when you come around that and like your whole car feels like it's tilting too, like that's dope. And just
falling off a ledge.
Oh yeah, sometimes it feels like that, which it will when you go off track. Because there was a couple of us trying to come in way too hot just because, and it was raining, so that doesn't help anything. The first day we got there, it's raining, and we're all like, let's go. And here we are out in the mud. But yeah, those two tracks, 100% for the team, I think. And I think I speak for all of us when I say, like, those are two of one of our most favorite tracks that we've at least drove this year.
Nice. Okay. How do you think that track, Driven Luck, relates to Mid-Pond? Because they seem to be somewhat of a similar, like, more technical.
I would say like the driving style of both of them is kind of like similar, I guess I would say. And especially like the hot lap stuff. Like I love that about both tracks is like hot lap setup. And one thing I do love about Mid-Pond is like get out there, look and see how many people are on track, count, like just be a good guy.
It's free
and, like,
range,
like just go when you can. And like that's the first time I ever went to Mid-Pond, I was like, that's dope.
Yeah.
And like same thing with Driven Luck, like they were like this many people, but like they still have somebody there like looking, because if you're coming in, there's a little bit of that elevation change, so you really can't see everybody coming in on your right. So they're like there to help you and stuff like that. But the tracks, I think there's similarities to them on the way that you would drive both tracks.
Yeah. I know driven luck's going to be a little bit faster
Yeah,
just because of the straight.
yeah. The straight definitely, especially if you run it reverse.
Yeah.
Like we did reverse like at the end of the day, and I was like, man, we should have been running this all day because
Really?
just the tandems that we were getting. Like, yeah, the entry's cool when you come down like that, but the tandems we were getting from reverse.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you just couldn't beat them like all day long. Like, I struggle to keep up because especially like when you come out of that entry, I struggle to get up the hill. I'm second gear to the fuck. I'm clutch kicking the shit out of my car. I'm beating every inch of that car, trying to keep up with like obviously 350Zs and a fucking LS 240. Like, it's hard. That little car, it works, but it's hard.
It should.
Yes, it really does. And everybody will tell me that. Like, we go to events, they're like, this car should not run like it does. Like, it shouldn't. And I'm like, you're telling me it's still on a stock clutch. Like, it should not do what it does. But we beat the hell out of it. But like I'm saying, like mid pond, I feel like to that it's a little bit flatter. Like you have a little bit of change, but it's not anything like drastic.
Yeah.
So I feel like the car does pretty well, like tandeming wise. And driven luck, like when we were running it, coming on like the big entry, I was having a lot of trouble keeping up with people. So like everybody's like, yeah, you're leading.
Yeah.
Like once we got up that hill, I could catch everybody because like for some reason, the way I don't know how everybody else has their car set up, but I get a lot of grip in transitions. So like that's what I use to catch up with people because I'm like, I have to have it somewhere. So like I've got to catch up with these guys.
Nowhere you can cheat.
Exactly. Like I don't want to be that guy straggling in the back because my car's so slow.
Yeah.
So
I totally understand that.
But other than that, I mean,
yeah,
I will say I love
Mid-Pond,
the end of the day,
too,
like
always.
Mid-Pond's a great track.
Yeah.
Just be prepared. Prepare for tires. That's all. Like I'll tell anybody that like don't show up to
Track surface is pretty
Mid-Pond
rough.
and think you're going to be at like Clarksville or something where like you're normally not using very many tires when you go to Clarksville.
Clarksville's fucking rough too.
Yeah, but the tire wear, I mean, it's getting a little
The tire
worse.
wear's all right, but like I'm talking about like those, dude. There's a fucking 5-inch dip.
I think they fixed that. Did they not?
Oh, they may have.
I was gonna say I think they did.
In
I
forever.
think they fixed all that. I mean, there's still like obviously it's a track and people could beat the hell out of them. So obviously there's always imperfections in every track you go to. But like, I've told everybody. There was a guy that went with us to Mid Pond and he's like, "How many tires do I need to bring?" I was like, "How many tires do you have?" He's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Dude, depending on how you want to drive."
I mean, I will say a lot of the time it is just over driving.
Oh, and 100% because you don't want to
get
get off.
hot lap, so it's like you get caught up and forget how many laps you're fucking doing.
And that's what I told him. I was like,
especially in a VQ car or something, you'll do it. You'll
he
lose
went through his
track.
Brand new set of Kendas in like 10 laps on Mid Pond, and I was like, he's like, "Dude, how did I do that?" And I was like,
you'll start seeing them delaminate.
I was like, "Dude, you didn't come in for 10 laps. You sat out there and hot lapped a 350Z on rev limiter the whole time." I'm like, "What do you mean? How'd you get rid of all your tires?"
It was one long lap.
He was like,
you know?
"Dude, I'm telling you." He's like, I thought they would last way longer than that. And I was like, "They will, but you're gonna have to come in like every 2 to 3 laps."
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like, if you can control yourself, you can make tires last at Mid Pond. But I'm one of those guys that like once you get out there and you start vibing,
because they got a hose and stuff, just at least come and spray them off and then go right back out.
And it's hard sometimes though because you hit like
a
a good lap with the boys. And like your tandem, like, because if I'm solo, I'll pull off. Like, it's okay.
Dude, good mid-pond prep is every single spare you have.
Yes.
Do a quick fucking burnout on every single one. Throw them in the bed and just let them sit there until the event. You're good to go. They'll last.
It's worth it.
Way longer.
Definitely worth it. Because I will tell you, like, brand new tires at mid-pond, don't do it.
Yeah.
Like, if you have not heat cycled anything, just don't do it. Because, like I told my boy, you're gonna go through those tires super quick, and he did not believe me.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
you can't help but to love Mid-Pond. The track is just, it's iconic for like the area and stuff like that. Like
beautiful too.
Yeah.
Beautiful track.
Everybody goes in there and drives, and you don't leave that track being like, dang, that wasn't fun, unless stuff goes wrong for you and stuff like that. Like we just have those days.
Just a parking lot. That's all we need.
But it's one of the best tracks around here for sure.
Hell yeah,
for sure.
All right. Well, let's jump into. So, I have this question I've been doing for the past few.
Yeah.
Starting off 2024. But basically, a bone stock version of your car. So an IS. That's what you have. And just to put it in perspective for people trying to get into drifting and stuff like that. So you have a bone stock version. Let's consider you already have tires for an event.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what tires, whatever. You already have them. But you have $3,000 in hand, and you're gonna spend it on Enjuku's website. What are you gonna get for the car? And you can pull your phone out, look on Enjuku's website if you want. You don't have to be like specific brand wise and everything, but what are you gonna prioritize to get to your first event for that car specifically?
And if I'm spending $3,000, definitely first thing I'm going for is like I'm almost 95% sure they sell the excessive angle kit on there. I could be wrong, but excessive or any just bolt-on angle kit for that car, it changes the way that car feels drivability
We'll just
wise.
consider $500 for
Yeah,
that.
and I mean they're not expensive, especially the little bolt-on ones for those cars. And then the next thing I'm going for is a decent set of coilovers. Like if you don't have money for BCs and you're trying to like budget, some Rev 9s.
Dude, grow
But
up and buy the BCs.
Just I will say, like, if
Not
that's the
that much
car
more.
that you're
Grow
going to
up
be
and buy
like,
BCs.
I'm going to keep driving this car, he's right. Like, spend the money on the coilovers because, like, you'll drive on different coilovers and you'll realize, like, this is why we buy.
Because you're at $1,500 right there.
This is why we buy the coilovers we buy is because, like, they do the damn thing. And so just go ahead and
what
get you
spring
some
rates on that car has worked best while we're on that topic?
Right now, I have 16K in the front and 14K in the rear, and that's
14 in the rear?
yeah. And
Why?
That's a stock setup from Part Shop Max. I'm almost 95% sure. I pulled my phone out and actually look.
Oh my god!
But
that seems like a lot.
Yeah, and
I
I noticed,
wrong, but
and I think it's only for like stock cars, really, because like if you're putting power down, I really don't think you'd want that.
Fuck no.
But like the car feels super planted, and it works, and I think it helps to be that stiff when you have 100, like was it 202 factory or whatever.
Yeah,
it helps that car.
You're trying to take away grip.
But like, I mean, I know people that run like 24K all around on IS 300s and drift. Like,
Dude, that's absurd.
Yeah, there's people that run some stiff spring rates on IS 300s, and I'm like, does it work? Like, obviously, like, I mean, y'all are doing it.
Yeah.
But like, how does that feel? Because I have 18K, 16K on my GTE car because I was gonna be dumb and like lower it, and I didn't want it to like squat a shit ton because it's a street car and all that kind of bullshit. That car's rough, and that's just 18, 16. Like, driving that thing on the road, it's definitely rough. So I'm like, on a track that's bad, like you got some changes in the concrete and you're hopping around. Like, I know that's got to be rough, which I do feel it on my car. Like, you can definitely, like last week when we were at Mid-Pond, there's several areas where like if I transition weird, I'm gonna feel the back end like hop because it is stiff. Yeah, but it works. And
what would you
good.
go to if you were to lower the spring rate? Because I would suggest probably doing that a little. I like a lot of grip in my cars, but
I've thought about, like, once I put the 1J in there, I've thought about going down to like an 8K in the rear and leaving it at like either 14 or 16 up front, because everybody says like to keep the front kind of stiff on those cars because the geometry of those cars and stuff like that. Like, everybody says that's the research I've done.
14K sounds like a good number.
Yeah,
a good number.
And like, I feel like it would work pretty well. And obviously, like, when you put some power down, you're gonna want some grip too.
Yeah,
you don't want to just spin the tires like all the time because then you're just gonna be wasting tire and not having a lot of fun.
Yeah,
especially if you're tandeming with the boys and they're way faster, and you're gonna realize real quick, like, where is it that I'm losing my grip?
Yeah, so, you're gonna figure that out real quick.
Oh yeah, but yeah, that would probably be. I'd probably go down to about 8K in the rear and probably stay around 14, 16 in the front.
Okay, cool. Just so they have the suggestion to go towards if they have that car. Well, okay, so you got the angle kit, simple angle kit, and coilovers.
So you're probably at like $2,000 at this point.
Yep.
And man,
we'll rough it 15 to $2,000.
Yeah. So you're about right in there. If you can, a steering wheel. That changed the game for me. Like, the stock steering wheel, it's a nice steering wheel. It looks good. And it feels good. Like, driving on it feels good. But drifting on it, I hated it. It just didn't work very well. So
too many unusual
shapes, just some weird shapes, and like when you're trying to grab it, like something. I do it in my GTE car and I drift that car and it still has a stock steering wheel in it. I hate it. I hate every second I drive it. Like, the car is so fun to drive, but it's a stock seat because I'm in it I just want it to be comfortable. Yeah, and everything feels comfortable. But at the end of the day, when you're driving, I mean, you want to be comfortable and you want it to function right.
Exactly.
So I would say a steering wheel before you even. I'm not a hydro guy, so I wouldn't say like your first event. I don't think you need one. E-brake works great in Toyotas, like even like Nissans. Nissans have great e-brake setups. Like you
These
can
are
do some
alright,
stuff.
but you can adjust them. And
Yeah,
tighten them
exactly.
up,
Like
but
you
they
tighten
will
them
get
and-
loose fast.
Oh yeah. So like if you really need something like that, like you can definitely do that like super cheap, so you're not having to go out and buy stuff. So steering wheel, angle kit, and some coilovers like for your first day.
You still got about $500 or so.
And then buy yourself a seat. Because those cars have the worst stock seats and they will throw you around that car.
Yep. And dude, that's like, okay, so literally angle kit, coilovers, seat, and a steering wheel.
Yeah.
That's a seat time car.
Oh, 100%.
That, like if Dustin Miles, that's literally
Yep.
his seat time Z.
Oh, yeah.
It's a simple bolt-on angle kit. It's coilovers and seat, steering wheel.
Yeah, you don't need nothing like
He has a
super
hydro in it,
fancy.
but that's the only difference.
And like I will say hydros, they help. Especially like once you learn what you're doing.
Yeah.
But for your first time, man, just
check
get out
it
there.
out with the hand.
Yeah. If you really need that, just cut
cable
that
brake,
thing.
baby.
You'll figure it out. You'll figure out how it works. And like it'll kind of give you a base point to go off of when you actually have a hydro.
Yeah.
Because it's almost the same like muscle memory when you get into it.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, there you go for the IS. All right. Well, let's do your best piece of advice for anyone just getting into drifting solely.
Keep it simple. I mean, buy yourself a seat time car, like we've been saying. Like, find something that like you like, how it looks. Because I will say, like, if you don't like the way the car looks, you're not going to keep it. You're going to end up trying to find something different. So, like, pick something out that like you like, that is in your price range, and just drive it. Spend the least amount of money on like making it look cool. Get out there and learn. And then be like, okay, I'm a hot boy now. Like I can drive. Like I'm gonna look like Dawson's car. Like we're gonna come out here. We're gonna do something with this thing.
Shit, whatever. All right, well, cool. Hell yeah, I like that. Now, I haven't asked anyone this like ever. If you had one message to the entire world, no matter what would it be? About anything. Doesn't have to be drifting. Just anything.
Jay-Z the world. I'm a diehard Jay-Z fan.
He pulls this card. What the fuck? First person to get like a deep question. He's like, nah, fuck that shit.
Nah, I mean, if it's not like car related and stuff like that, I mean, I would say just be a good person, man.
Yeah.
Like it goes so far just being a decent human being and just being there for the majority.
Yeah, luckily that's pretty natural.
Oh yeah,
thank God.
I mean, and that's why I love the drift community. I mean, 99% of the time you're going to meet like great people.
Yeah.
And those will be the people that you'll be friends with for a long time. I mean, I've met so many people through drifting, and like my friend group, it's small, but it's grown so much just on the drifting side. Like,
yeah,
every time we're going to events, like I'm messaging people like, hey, y'all going? Like, who's all going? Like, I'm trying to get some tandems in with y'all.
Oh yeah.
And like, everybody's always just
I don't hardly
so
communicate
willing.
with anyone that's outside of drifting.
Exactly.
I used to associate with.
Yeah, I mean,
so I feel that.
if you don't drift, I probably don't talk to you much. And I mean,
Yeah.
like, that's not just saying I
not
don't
on the
like
same
you.
wavelength, dog.
Yeah. It's just like I live, breathe, and love drifting. I mean,
Yeah.
it's something that definitely has taken a hold of my life and changed it. And I would say for the better, honestly.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's good to hear. Hopefully it's doing the same for a bunch of you guys too. Well, if you want, plug yourself, plug your people, anything.
So if you
shout
want to
out?
follow me on Instagram, it's Ashtons_IS300. And then we have the team page. It's Team Vice Drifting. We just ended up changing that. It used to be Team Vice Media. But we were like, we're not really a media page. Like, we just drift.
Not a media company.
And I mean, I appreciate, like I said, Stage Wheels. I really appreciate Bill. He's an awesome dude. He's helped me out a lot. And hey, Parts Shop Max, guys. Like, those guys, if you have an IS or anything, like, I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of like everything they do, and great guys at that company.
FDF.
He's not lying; they're good too. I'm not like singling anybody out. I just have a preference, and like I run FDF stuff. So, like I said, like,
I have a Part Shop Max handbrake.
yeah, I mean,
I've always ran that, but
they're good guys.
FDF.
They take care of you. But like I said, any big company, they will. I mean, most big companies, their customer service is absolutely phenomenal. And that's pretty much it. I mean, Team Vice. I'm here, like,
Team Vice.
those are my guys. Those are my guys. And
Well,
You
hell
know?
yeah. Now go show them your bum's glasses and tell them to all
Oh,
switch
shoot.
over. I got a link
I was gonna
for
say,
them. They're good.
I know y'all are probably gonna watch this. I guess we're gonna have to get some of these because none of us really have glasses anymore.
There you go. Taking it over. All right. Well, that's pretty much all we got for this one. So, of course, go ahead and look below. If that subscribe button is still red, click it, hit the bell notification, all of that. And, of course, if you did want any of the parts that we talked about, or most of the parts we talked about, you can find them on Enjuku, whether it's Kansei wheels, BC coilovers,
lot
Blink
of stuff on
ECU,
there.
whatever it is. So, they always got your back. Link is always in the description. And, of course, grab one of the Grassroots Heroes merch, like right behind him. There's probably limited sizes left, so grab it while you can. And of course, the bums giveaway. Do that. Drop a comment. So that's it. See you each week with a new episode.
Stacking way up to the ceiling. Trust no bitch, can't catch no feelings. I've been taking long flights from the Bay to Ibiza. Came home run, I'm a ball like Jeter. I just want 4-4-4, then I leave. I'm a young pop star, caught a boy just a beaver. Got a little money if you want a teacher. Whole life a movie, you can watch it in theater. Stacking way up to the ceiling. Trust no bitch, can't catch no feelings. I've been taking long flights from the Bay.